hurry up and res me. One pump, I got his teammate.
This is the interactive video the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released. It's called No Escape Room. You can go through the prompts as if you are the teen, and it simulates a sextortion scenario.
We're trying to give adults, parents, people who care about the children in their lives, a glimpse into how quickly this crime can occur and how a child would be impacted.
Local social worker Michael Klinkner says this type of blackmail is a rapidly growing problem. Seeing campaigns like these will normalize family conversations about online safety. Many of these cases have led to teen suicide.
Because there's so much shame involved with it, and the idea that like potentially pictures you've taken or things that you've done are going to get released to everyone on everyone's contact list becomes so shameful and so intolerable that the kids will choose a temporary, like a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Recent data shows online child exploitation reports jumped 360% in the past decade. Not surprising with the rise in kids using technology. The federal government today launched the No to Protect campaign. The Department of Homeland Security is joining forces with Google, YouTube, Meta, Roblox, and other major companies and organizations to get the word out.
This might save some kids' lives because there is a resolution from it.
Not only trying to prevent kids from making these mistakes, but also letting them know it's not the end of the world and there are people who will help. Now, the No to Protect campaign will be visible in ads online and at professional sporting events like NFL games and NASCAR races. The Boy Scouts are even implementing presentations. Meanwhile, Meta has pledged to help law enforcement with investigating and prosecuting these cases. Derek.